Guillotine here, and I absolutely love the War for Cybertron trilogy, as I'm sure quite a few of you guys out there do. In fact, I would go as far to say that the War for Cybertron trilogy is easily my favorite Transformers toy line ever. The figures in the WFC trilogy just never really seem to ever go below outstanding, save for a couple entries like Earthrise RC. That's probably the only figure in the entire trilogy that I would say is actually a genuinely bad figure, and that's 1 out of, what, 100? So, yeah, I am a huge fan of the War for Cybertron trilogy. Man, try saying that 3 times fast. But by far, one of my favorite things about the WFC trilogy is how much engineering they really put into these figures. Seriously, the engineering and the transformations in the WFC trilogy are some of the most brilliant and fun I've ever seen in my life. And today, I'm going to give you my picks for the top 5 most brilliant transformations in the WFC trilogy. Now, this was quite difficult, but for me, there were 5 standouts when it comes to this trilogy, and do keep in mind that it's not quite over yet. So, you know, maybe at some point when Kingdom is finished, we'll go back and maybe if some of the newer ones come out and they blow me away, then, you know, maybe we'll come back and do this again. But I really want to do this video because I think it will be a ton of fun. All right, let's get into this, and do keep in mind that this is just my opinion, and I would love to know your opinion in the comment section down below. What are your absolute favorite transformations in the War for Cybertron trilogy? What do you consider the most brilliant transformations in the War for Cybertron trilogy? But before we get into the list itself, I do want to give 2 honorable mentions. Our first honorable mention goes to Siege Jetfire. I adore this transformation so much. It is so fun to do. I've done it so many times and it's always a blast. But this is the top 5 most brilliant transformations. Not my top 5 favorite transformations, although they are kind of one and the same. These are what I consider the most brilliant transformations. So yeah, it's probably my favorites overall. But for me, I cannot say that this transformation is brilliant because it's actually pretty darn basic when you really look at it. It kind of, honestly, he really just compresses and then the wings come out and the cockpit comes out. It's not all that impressive, but it is insanely fun to do, and it does do it in a very clever way that makes him extremely well-rounded, like very flush. There's like, the backpack is pretty much perfect. All he has is that very animation accurate piece on the back. There's pretty much no kibble whatsoever on this figure. I cannot sing this figure's praises high enough, seriously. Siege Jetfire is one of my favorite Transformer figures of all time. So yeah, that is going to be my first honorable mention, is Siege Jetfire. Really amazing transformation, but I can't really qualify it as brilliant personally. And the other one is going to be Siege Springer. Yes, 2 Siege figures for our honorable mentions. Here's the deal with Siege Springer. I do think his transformation is brilliant, but it's not all that fun to do. And the ones that made it onto the list itself, I actually think are fun to do. So for that reason, he is gonna be an honorable mention. I still think he has an absolutely brilliant transformation, but it's just not very smooth, especially not compared to the ones that actually made it onto the list. So there you have it. Those are our honorable mentions. Let's get into the list itself. Coming in at number 5 is going to be my absolute favorite Transformer figure of all time, Siege Omega Supreme. This transformation is so brilliant, and get ready to hear that a lot throughout this video. But man, this transformation is just awesome. It is so fun to do no matter what. And yeah, I might be biased because I'm a huge Omega Supreme fan. He is one of my favorite Transformer characters ever, and this is my favorite Transformer figure of all time. So there's that as well. But I do genuinely think that this transformation is brilliant. There's so many things about this transformation that really stand out for me. It'll be kind of hard to kind of show you everything, but basically just the way he breaks apart and everything becomes individual pieces, like the turret here. Some of my favorite parts of the transformation on this guy. Well, honestly, this entire thing is pretty fun to transform. But one of my standout moments right here is going to be this part right here. We have this cavity in the turret here where this gun actually, well, it goes from, so it's straight and you have to bend it down, stuff it into the cavity, and then it will lock in place right there. And it keeps this place super locked in. Another brilliant piece of transformation on Omega Supreme is gonna be the arms that turn into the rocket. This entire piece slides out of Omega Supreme's torso, and these are his arms. And we bring them up like this, just like this. One of these days, I'll probably end up doing a full video on this figure because it is my favorite Transformer figure of all time. And we will open these up just like this, and then it comes around on this double hinge. It's super crazy. And you bring this out, well, you got clearance, so you might not want to fold those out just yet. You got to get those clearance first. So apologies for that. And we just get that around just like that. And there we go. Now we bring them out just like this, flip them out, and then these come down. It all closes up perfectly like a little cocoon. And then we bring this in and we fold this down, and you want to get this piece kind of plugged in place right there. And then you close it up. And if you do it correctly, it all snaps in nice and tight. Same thing on the other side here. You bring that piece down, close that up, and there you have it. There is the rocket for Omega Supreme, and I just think that is really cool. And the fact that it all comes apart and just slides into the torso here for Omega Supreme. This is a really well thought out transformation. I really think deserves to be on the list. There you have it. My number 5 pick goes to Siege Omega Supreme. Coming in at the number 4 spot on this list is going to be Kingdom Cyclonus. Now, a lot of people probably expect you to see this one a little higher up, but if you really examine this transformation, it's really not all that crazy. It does do some quite crazy stuff, like the cockpit that just explodes out of the torso. In fact, why don't I just show you instead of just talking about it? So this entire piece, the fact they did so much crazy shit with this guy, the fact that this entire piece, let me take his gun off the back here, this entire piece comes up, the arm swings back like this, and then this entire piece rotates around like this, and then this entire freaking torso opens up like this. Well, I guess you don't actually, I keep forgetting, I haven't transformed him in a while, so you just open that up, and then this entire piece rotates around, and then this piece opens up like 4 different times to completely make the nose cone for the jet mode. And that is just so awesome. It does like so many different things. Like this piece opens, that piece like double hinges in, and then that entire thing closes up, and then the whole thing swivels around and replaces it with the head just to get that entire nose cone. Also, down here, the legs, this is a commonly used thing in the War for Cybertron trilogy, but I honestly think that Cyclonus has utilized this transformation trick the best, where this piece just comes out, the foot folds in, bring this piece up, and it comes down just like that. Absolutely magnificent. I think that's all I'm going to say for Cyclonus, because a viewer has actually requested that I do a full video on Cyclonus, and I will be delivering on that, so I don't want to just, do a mini review of him right now, but this transformation is absolutely brilliant. The fact that this entire nose cone just disappears into the robot mode. Like that entire nose cone, you come down there, everything here, this piece just double hinges in, you bring down that thing, and it closes up like this, and then the whole thing, you just exchange it for the robot mode, close it all up just like that, and then bring in the arms, and they peg in just like that. That's not the only brilliant part about this transformation. I do really like the addition of these little flaps on the wings, and they really work absolutely seamlessly. And overall, this transformation is just really amazing. The only reason I'm putting it at number 4 is because honestly, aside from that torso piece, and it's not all that like crazy. It's not all that like we've kind of seen all this before, the hands fold in, these pieces double hinge out. We actually saw that on the original Universo 8 Cyclonus, and the feed that's taken directly from the Soundwave mold from Siege. The only really brilliant thing about it is the nose cone, but it is really brilliant, and it does create a basically perfect Cyclonus figure. This figure is basically perfect in robot mode and in vehicle mode, and there's no way I could have left it on the list. But in my opinion, number 4 is going to be his spot. So number 4, Kingdom Cyclonus. Number 3 is going to be a very recent bot, and that is Dinobot. I think this transformation is just insane, and I absolutely love it. I think this transformation is so fun, and it's so hard to explain why this transformation is so cool, why it's so smooth and it works so well. The fact that you bring these up, the little arms from the robe from the Dino mode just kind of tuck into these little things, which fills up the torso right there. They'll just swing in. And this part right here, I just think is so crazy how this entire thing lifts up, this piece swings back like that, and then the entire arm just comes down and fills all that out, and it even has the little spot right there. Well, you have to angle it correctly, and then it all fills out just like that. And then when you get to the Dino mode, when you get to that final step, it just closes down and fills it all out. It's so awesome. The whole tail folds out from there, except you do have to connect this. It is a bit of a parts for it, but it's not a complaint, because it has to be like this. If you want the shield with the sword, you're gonna have to have it as a separate piece that can be removed. So, you know, Hasbro isn't wizards. They have to do some things like that. And I honestly can't think of one thing to say about this transformation other than the one part at the very end of it where the feet have to kind of get around that orange piece. But you know what I'm talking about. If you had this figure, you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of annoying to get that piece in there without everything untabbing, but I also just have to show how the entire freaking Dino mode just kind of explodes out of here, and it just kind of all envelops into the torso, which is just absolutely crazy. Like, all this is on hinges, and the tail flips out here, and like, all that is the entire Dino mode. All that is the entire Dino mode. Literally everything in the Dino mode that's visible is here, and then the feet just wrap up. It's really, really brilliant. This transformation really did blow my mind the first time I saw it, the first time I performed it. And I mean, like, when you put him back in robot mode, just getting all that in there, getting all that locked together, having those out, and then just bringing that down and having it perfectly fill out the torso to show you that one more time what I'm getting at there. The fact that you just bring that arm up, you fold that out, and then you have this and you just bring that down, and it completely fills in his entire torso right there. Then the tail just stores onto the back. It just goes in there, locks in place super securely, and then these arms just kind of come around and they fill up that entire torso. Like, that's what it looks like normally. Arms come in, that's what you got there. Really incredible. In my opinion, this absolutely was gonna make it onto this list. This was honestly, if I'm being honest, this was probably the figure that inspired me to make this video in the first place. This figure is really amazing, and that transformation, in my opinion, is just phenomenal. So, number 3 is Kingdom Dinobot. Coming in at the number 2 spot on this list is gonna be Siege Spinister. I am starstruck with this transformation. This transformation does so many things I have never seen before and does them absolutely flawlessly. This thing is crazy. The only reason this isn't number 1 is because this piece won't tab in, and our number 1 is just a little more brilliant in my opinion, and a little more fun to do, and a little smoother overall. The fact that this piece doesn't tab in, and this transformation does take quite a while to get it perfectly. Like, it takes you quite a while to get the hang of this transformation, but to say that this transformation is brilliant is a huge understatement. This transformation is just insane. Absolutely insane. I don't even know what else to say other than to just show you all the crazy shit that this transformation does. You just have to watch this. So this piece, the foot there, just comes out, and all this just slots in. And one thing I absolutely love about this figure that I learned is when you put this in, when you bring the foot out like that, when you push it in like that, and you get that all locked in, everything is lined up perfectly to where you can just take the arm and bring it in. You see, it has an opening right there for that slot where that tab on the foot is gonna slot into right there. And when you just bring it in, it all seamlessly goes in, and that locks in place into the torso right there. It's just fantastic. It's so convenient and so fantastic. And of course, getting back to what I was saying before, this piece comes out, this little panel flips down, and that is one leg right there. And the feet do some crazy shit, man. These are like the most insane feet ever. This piece comes on, this piece has, and then they even have another joint in there just for the ankle tiltage, because, yeah, they know the ankle tiltage is easily the most important part of articulation for especially a robot as limber and awesome as Spinister here. And then this piece right here is the other leg, and it's just another freaking cockpit on the bottom here. This piece opens up, this piece comes up, and then this piece opens, flares out after you untab that, obviously, and then you bring that down, and then this foot even does even more shit than the other one. This one comes down and you're like, what the hell, how does this happen? Well, what happens is this piece untabs from there, it spins all the way around, it comes down, and then it folds in. There's like 15 freaking joints in that foot for this transformation. And then it cap it off, you have to bring this piece down, and then this, oh my god, this part right here is just crazy. You just take the tail, you fold it in, and that finishes the whole thing basically. You close that up, you fold up these, and then you just push it in, and the final little piece of brilliance, that little piece holds those propellers in just like that. It does come off if you shake it, as you just saw there, but for the most part, it does the job very, very well. And I mean, I think that speaks for itself. I think that transformation speaks for itself, and there's your robot mode, and it's just incredible. I I don't even know what else to say about this transformation. It's mind-blowing. It seriously is. This transformation is just crazy. The fact that those legs, I have seen this kind of transformation before where the legs turn only like it to the middle and then they both kind of come around like Cyberverse Grimlock did it. This figure blows the Cybertron Grimlock's transformation out of the water. Like that transformation is garbage compared to this one. Well, I think I said Cybertron, I meant Cyberverse. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I don't even know what else to say about this. It doesn't help it helps the fact that this is like probably my favorite deluxe class in the entire War for Cybertron trilogy, except for maybe Run Amok. But I don't know what else to say. I just think he's absolutely incredible. And a lot of you are probably saying to yourself, what on earth could possibly beat this transformation? What on earth could you consider more brilliant than this transformation? That tail that just comes in there and it fills out all that thing perfectly. Those legs that spin, just spin a little bit and they all come up and it perfectly makes the alt mode. Those feet that have just like a shitload of different joints in there to make the transformation work. What on earth could possibly be more brilliant? For me, the number one most brilliant transformation in the War for Cybertron trilogy is Earthrise Optimus Prime. This transformation blew my mind the first time I tried it. This is a really insane transformation. And a lot of people probably aren't going to agree with this because it's really just this part that's all brilliant. Everything down here is pretty basic and definitely not considered brilliant at all. But this part right here, in my opinion, is incredible. And the reason I think this is number one is because I'm not saying that Siege Spinister is not smooth and not fun to do. This is the probably most smooth and fun transformation I have ever done. I could transform this figure every day for the rest of my life and never get tired of it. I just love transforming this figure. I do it all the time without it's just brilliant. It's so good. Just to show you all the crazy shit that this does. This beautiful Optimus Prime, this basically perfect G1 Optimus Prime with a flush back. The only piece of kibble on this is this little strip that all you have to do if you really hate it that much, perspective end, is just pop it off the little hinge there and boom, you're done. No hate towards perspective end. I absolutely love the dude, but I don't agree with his opinion on Earthrise Optimus Prime. But yeah, that piece comes off and there you go. All done. You can pop that right back on there. And I don't know why people hate that joint so much because I think that looks great. And stop saying it's rubber butt cheeks because they're above his butt. This is his back. This is his lower spine, not his butt. All right? All right. Anyway, let's start talking about this brilliant fucking transformation. All right, so what you do here after we bring these pieces back down here is the entire torso here basically explodes. This piece comes up. These pieces hinge back. We have to rotate that 90 degrees. This piece comes up. These two red pieces fold to the back just like that. And now the craziness happens. But first we do have to flip in his hands. And that's not anything brilliant or anything like that. Those just fold in. This piece folds down. This is where the brilliance comes in. The entire chest just comes up and unfolds in like 3 different sections. And then the entire front of the truck just explodes out of the chest. And it's crazy. This entire front of the truck and then goes into the torso. It's absolutely insane. Then you bring this piece down, get that locked in place right there, take the head, put it into its little special cavity right there, close it up, locks in place super, super securely. Then you take the arms, bring them back, then they hinge in like that, back, hinge in like that, and then you just gotta get them out of the way so you can bring the whole thing down, seamlessly connect it so that there's absolutely nothing. It literally looks like a truck with legs right now. And then you bring that piece, you bring those arms in, locks in place, and then this last part, you just close everything up just like that. Boom, boom. Then you lock those feet together just like that. Bring those in. But like I said, all the stuff below the waist is definitely not what I would consider brilliant, but still doesn't, in my opinion, take this figure away from its number one spot. And then to finish it off, close those in, pop those out, and you are left with the most perfect Optimus Prime alt mode I have ever seen in my life. Like, what more do I need to say about it? It's just incredible. This transformation is, in my opinion, the most brilliant transformation I have yet to see in a Transformer figure. This is currently my second favorite Transformer figure of all time, right behind Omega Supreme. I don't know what else to say other than, in my opinion, he is the number one best transformation in the War for Cybertron trilogy. but that is just my opinion. So in the comment section down below, guys, let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you thought of my list and my picks. If you disagree, leave your top 10 in your top 5 in the comment section down below, or top 10. Hey, if you want to go the way, if you want to go full top 10, go for it. Be my guest. I will happily read all of your lists, and I'm very excited to see what you guys say about my lists. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give me a sub if you enjoy listening to me talk about robots that turn into things, and give me a like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and this is DK Guillotine, signing out.